Okay, it says we are live. Hello, hello, and how are you going? Welcome to Homestead on the Rock.
Hello.
Tonight is going to be a big video for us. We've got a little bit of an announcement. We have a very big announcement first up, and then we're going to give you a bit of an update on the homestead and the build plans. And then, of course, we'll get stuck into the live Q&A or answer all of your questions that you guys have asked us over YouTube and Instagram as well. Someone, if you can hear me good, let me know in the comments. Just say, yes, we can hear you, and then we know for sure that you can hear us properly. So, first off, the big announcement. Okay. Do you want to tell everyone, Sam, what we're doing?
We officially are moving from the city to the country.
Yes, that's right. So if you've been following us for a while, you know that we've been temporarily living at Sam's parents' place while we organise how we're going to build this house and how we're going to do everything. But we have some big news that there's a rental just near our block, and it's become available. We've been waiting for it to become available.
Like walking distance close.
Yeah, like literally just a couple houses down, and we're going to be renting that, which means we're moving to the country, we're moving to the block, and that means we're going to be obviously near the block so we can start building on it. So we've got...
So like 4 weeks away. So it's happening fast now all of a sudden. We've been waiting, and then we just got the call up the other day, and we're like,
Yeah, I know. Well, once we're near the block, then we can actually, start doing things on the property. It's like 2 hours drive at the moment to go visit the property. So it's been very hard to do little bits and pieces. But soon we're going to be right there every day. So it'll motivate us to do more. But obviously we'll be there so we can start getting stuck into a few of the build bits there. Now, what else we got here? I suppose we can give a little bit of an update on the actual build and what's going on there. So with the build, basically we've got almost everything ready to apply for our building permit. Today I was just sort of put through an application to connect power to the block. So we're getting a quote done by the power company out there to connect power. But we don't need that for a building permit. We're just actually, let me start this again. For the building permit, which is the most important part, we are waiting on the septic permit. Yes. So we're waiting to get our permit for the septic. Once we have that, we can apply for the building permit. But we're taking a little bit of a leap of faith. We are just going ahead with a few things, because if we go ahead and start spending money on the block and then we can't get a building permit for some reason, then we've wasted the money. But alternatively, you can't just sit around and do nothing waiting to get a building permit. So we are taking a little bit of a leap of faith, a little bit of a risk, and we're investing some money by connecting to power, and we're also connecting the water as well. And we're doing a few little bits and pieces before we even have the building permit. So soon we'll have water and power on the block, and then we can actually probably start just doing a few little homesteading things in the backyard. Cola's doing a puzzle just next to us here. So if you hear another voice, that's just Cola. What else is going on with the build?
That's it, really.
That's it.
I don't know. We got a estimation done, which I'm sure Tom will talk about it another time.
We got like a bill of quantities. So the estimation done on the cost of how much everything is going to cost. And we're going to break that down. We'll do a bit of a future video about that, showing how much it's expected to cost and then how much hopefully we can build it for. And I'll give you a little hint. It's expensive and we're going to be scraping the barrel. We don't even know if this is possible still at this point, but we're all in.
We're all in. I mean, I half don't trust the estimator, even though he's professional. The price was like the same when we built our first house, which was double the size. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, so hopefully we can get things down a little bit lower than what we're being told it's going to cost. But that's all right. That's what this YouTube channel is about, and our story is how cheap, if we can actually achieve our goal. Yeah. So that's probably enough of the updates. If you guys have questions, feel free, drop all your questions in the live chat. And if you can, do them in all capitals or make them obvious that they're questions. So then I can look through and then I can answer all your questions at the end. And you can ask us any question. We're an open book, so we'll do our best to answer.
But we're going to start with the...
I'm just looking in here quickly. I can see, hello, Narelle, Firecracker Bird, Beautiful Life, Donna Boots, hello, Tester Ben, Brave Mac, Shalom. So we're going to, I can see a question there, Brave Mac, and we'll answer all the questions at the end. But all the questions in the comments we'll answer at the end. But now we're going to go through all the questions that people have asked us during the week to answer on this live chat. So do you want to go first? Do you want me to hold Zipporah and you do these questions first?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so these are from Instagram. The first one said, when do you anticipate your new house to be complete?
Well, I'll answer that one. Or do you want to?
No, you go, yeah. You're the builder. I'll ask the builder.
Obviously, this is our first time doing anything like this. So we don't want to, not going to be silly and pretend that we know when it'll be finished. We don't know when it'll be finished.
Yes.
But we're very hopeful. Our goal is the end of next year to move into the house. So that's, in my mind, that's really, really, really quick and very ambitious, but you have to have a goal. So the goal is the end of next year to move in. So yeah, a year and a half, basically, if you want to do the maths. A year and a half from today, hopefully it doesn't mean it's finished, but we're moving in.
Yeah.
Next question.
What made you decide on your block, so the block that we're building on now, over various other ones? At the time when we were actually looking, our number one filter was honestly price. That was like, we were very price driven. But alongside that, we definitely chose our particular block because of the overall town. You would have heard us say this before. The town we're building in, well, we personally obviously really love it. Compared to other towns, it just looks alive, healthy, and that it was going up, not down or backwards. So I'd say like just the town was another reason. And what would you say was another big reason why we did?
Close to family.
It was actually the closest block. It was 2 hours from Melbourne, whereas a few of the others we were looking at were like the 2.5 to 3.
I think if I can, obviously there's a lot of reasons why we chose it. To be honest, having more information than we have now, I think I could have even found a better block. I think we did like rush it a little bit. But one of the reasons why we ended up settling on a small block was just the basics of, we were looking for more land, but we realized that like the bigger you go, the bigger house you build, the bigger shed you build, the longer the trenching has to be for the connecting to the mains, the bigger you block everything. It's like if you get a more expensive car, it costs more to service, more to insure, and all that stuff. So we figured just get a small block and let's just see if we can, what you can do with a tiny block. And we were kind of just happy, considering we have like the smallest budget ever. We thought it was just wise to start small.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Next question says, do you have a Sabbath from content creation? And if so, how do you switch off? We definitely have a Sabbath from content creation. For us, content creation, making content is our job. So on Sabbath, I don't even go on Instagram or any social media apps, because even if I was like to have a scroll on Instagram, my brain cannot not work. Like if I'm looking at content, I'll be like, oh, I could probably make a reel like that, or I could grab bits like that and imply it later on. So just automatically my brain works. So for me, Sabbath is like no social media, and that is like a great rest for my mind personally. And I'm sure Tom agrees. We've had this talk before.
I try not to, like same as Sam, we try not to, social media and like our phones, we work on our phones a lot. So we try not to look at our phones.
Yeah,
I still do, like I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I want to watch a YouTube video and stuff like that, or sometimes I look at something. But the goal is to not look at our phones as much on the Shabbat, because otherwise we just get notifications from work and stuff. We don't want to see that.
Yeah, that as well. Maybe she might. You can try to put it on the floor. She might play.
What's the next question?
Next one says, would you recommend someone to start a YouTube channel these days for income?
I'll answer it. Start a YouTube channel for income. It's okay. Well, the short answer is if you're just starting a YouTube channel to make money, you don't make a lot of money from YouTube.
No. Not really.
What you make money from on YouTube is if you have a business, and then the YouTube channel helps you sell products from that business. YouTube doesn't pay, like for every person that makes a YouTube channel, like you've probably seen how many homesteading channels are in Australia. And if you ask all of them, in YouTube AdSense, the money that YouTube pays, you hardly make any money.
It's like their lowest stream of
unless you're like one of those really famous people who gets like 100,000 views or like 60,000 views every single week, then you make a good bit of money. But most people who are just starting out and stuff are only getting a few views like us, maybe a few thousand or something like that, even 5,000 to 10,000. You're not making enough money. Maybe you make like $50 or $100 per video.
For reference, if you're looking at our channel's only really making about $250 a month. Yeah, is that right?
About close to 300 now, close, okay. but
close to 300 a month, and you can see like the quality of Tom's videos and how many views we get. So like obviously no one's.
And the amount of work I put into this YouTube channel, $300 a month is not substantial.
Yeah, it's not enough.
But we obviously are trying to grow it. But think of it like any business. It takes it's a full-time job. It's a lot of work, and it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. That's for sure. You need to have a business behind the channel.
So to answer that question in short, if you have a business or a product or a service that you have and you want to sell, then I would say, promote it through YouTube. That's a good way to get customers to buy your products. But if you're talking about getting paid from views specifically, it's like not the best income stream to begin with.
It's a tough gig. YouTube's not easy.
Yeah. The next question: what's your age gap between your babies? I got pregnant when Cole was 13 months, so there is 21 or 22 months between them. Yeah, they're pretty close.
Next one.
When do you fit in work around children? Example, housework, homesteading, and YouTube.
This is a perfect example of fitting in work.
Yeah, this is fitting in.
We just make it work somehow.
Honestly, we're always very tired. Not always, sorry, that sounds bad, but we just make it work. It's honestly, it's tough. It's not easy. To give you a bit more information, Tom is like more full-time YouTube. Like he'll be in the study most of the day. For me, I just like do the housework, cooking during the day when the kids are awake. And then when they go down for a nap, that's when I'm normally like, oh, what can I do on Instagram? But still, I go through waves. I don't always get a lot done in terms of the work side. Yeah. Someone asks, how are the build plans going?
We sort of kind of answered that before.
Yeah.
Build plans, house engineering, everything's in line. Just final pieces for the permit. Everything takes longer than we thought.
Next question. On YouTube, do you get the same money if we skip ads, or do you get more if we watch it?
Yeah, okay. So basically, like, I don't know the exact answer to that. But like, if someone watches all the ads and doesn't skip them, maybe we'll make like, I don't know exactly, but let's say like 2 or 3 cents. And if you skip the ads, then we probably only get like 1 cent.
Yeah.
So it's not a drastic difference if like one of you do it, but like if every single person did it, then of course it would add up. But I skip every single ad. I don't expect you guys to watch the ads. What's wrong? You can't go on the table. So I try. That's not a big difference, I don't think. If the ads annoy you, just press skip. If you want to watch it, you can. But the best thing you can do is like when we bring out a shop, buy our products. That's the best way to support us. Buy something from us. Let go, Zipper. Let go.
Do you want me to hold someone?
Yeah, do you want to go up?
Do you want to come sit on me?
All right.
All right, next question is your church near your new home?
Okay, so we have a church or a fellowship, a place that we go every Saturday, and that's in Tullamarine. And that's kind of like our regular church, I suppose. But we're not like only go to that church. We go to like other places as well and hang out with other friends and believers. So we don't have a like specific church where we're moving to, but we do know believers and other people out there that will fellowship with and hang out on Shabbat. Right, we know people that have like house churches and stuff like that on Saturdays, and so we'll get involved with that for sure.
We definitely know we'll have strong community out there. We actually go and visit that community every few Saturdays.
Yeah, we've got a community out in the west.
So we're already visiting them for fellowship and church at the moment. So yeah. All right, next question is, do you have a podcast or will you be starting one? No, we do not have a podcast at the moment, but Tom would love to do one in the future. But right now, we're so busy, trying to build a house, we're trying to release new products, raise young children, all of it. Like, podcast is not doable right now. But I do think maybe in a couple of years, it's something on the
could start a podcast if people enjoy watching us hold our children. But we don't have much more time than that at the moment.
Yeah. Next one is pros and cons to discuss with your partner when deciding if homesteading is for both of you. That's a very good question.
Yeah, so I'll just read it again. The pros and cons to discuss with your partner when deciding if homesteading is for both of you. So I'm actually going to do a video about this in the future, but when deciding if homesteading is for you, it's not really, and we're rookies, we're beginner homesteaders, so take this with a grain of salt, we're still learning. But when deciding if homesteading is for you, it's not so much, do you love chickens, or do you love bread, or do you love cows or something? I think that's a bit like, you can love those things, but when you're talking with your partner specifically about deciding your values and what you should do, it's not so much thinking, it's more of a question of like, was it bread, for example? If you're health focused, let's say, or say chickens, for example, it's not a chicken's fun. The question is, do you and your partner, so you sit down with your partner and say, do you care about buying eggs from the shop, or do you really want your own eggs?
Yeah.
because you've got to look at the root
What's
reason.
the motive behind
The
the
motive
reason
behind,
to
yeah. So when you
homestead?
think about homesteading,
Yeah.
no one gets chickens. Well, someone gets chickens because they're fun, but generally you would get chickens because you want to have the healthiest eggs you can. If neither of you eat eggs on a regular basis, well, then like you're probably not going to get chickens. So these are things to factor in. Like if one of you loves having eggs and the other one doesn't, well, then maybe chickens are something you maybe will or maybe won't get. But if you both love having like, fresh organic fruit and veg, well, then a garden is going to be very practical to you. So don't think so much, should we homestead? Think like, what are our needs and what things do we prioritize? What are our values? And then homesteading helps you achieve those values through time and effort and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So just try to think outside of not just homesteading, think of your values together and then what things you value, because every homestead is going to be different. Some homesteads are full of animals because they want good meat. Some homesteads are full of gardens. Some homesteads don't even do much stuff at all. Like, anyway, you understand the point. Just do what's valuable to you and discuss what you do value.
Yeah, discuss the motive behind why you would want to do it, I guess. The last question is on Instagram. What age did you guys decide on homesteading? Technically, we'll say when we bought our land, we were 25, but Tom had already been thinking about it for a couple of years before then. He actually almost said, let's not buy the caravan and let's start a homestead. And I was like, nah, man, we're traveling first.
Before we got, even once we got the caravan, I was even like borderline thinking of selling it. But definitely before we got it, I was like watching homesteading videos, watching like how to start a homestead and buy land. And I was watching videos before then, but then we said, you know what, let's do the caravan thing, because if we don't do it now, we'll never do it, blah, blah, blah. And we ended up doing the caravan. Like we'd already done caravan van life for like a year or two. And then we come home, then we weren't sure if we should do it again. Yeah. And we were either going to do homestead or go in the van again.
Well, actually, what we were going to do, we were going to buy like a Isuzu truck and we were going to be like the traveling homestead.
That wouldn't have worked, as we've discovered now.
Yeah, I know. But back then we were already thinking about it. We're like,
we'll
have like, the back will be full of like glass trays with like all bulk things. And
we have some wild ideas.
Yeah, that one obviously didn't work.
Anyway,
but
we've been thinking about it for a few years.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it on Instagram.
So that's all the Instagram questions. Now I'll get the questions up on YouTube, and make sure you're dropping your questions in there, guys, because I'll reply to them very soon. So I'm going on to the YouTube comments now. All right.
Nice and play together.
First comment is from Kira. She said, "Will you get a milk cow?"
Not this time around, unfortunately.
We would love to get a milk cow.
I would love one. I just know that they require a lot of room, a lot of grass, and on our quarter acre, it's just not something that it will not fit.
On a future property, yes.
Yeah. And we're also happy to source things for now. Like we know we can't do it all, and that's totally fine. So we're going to get some help in those areas like milk and meat. Yeah,
half the process of homesteading is learning to source quality ingredients from other homesteads. So we'll get one day. Next question from John. Are there homeschooling groups and communities where we are moving to? Just heard her head hit the ground, but she's okay. There are homesteading communities where we are moving to. And another thing is when you live in like the city or the town, you're like thinking, is someone 10, 15 minutes away, 20 minutes away? But when you move to the country, anything within like an hour and a half, that's your community. So having said that, within an hour and a half, massive community of homeschoolers. And homeschooling is like anything. You think homesteading is not a big community. Once you join homesteading, everyone's a homesteader. Same as homeschooling. Once you look into it, you realize there's heaps of people homeschooling and there's a big community out there.
Yeah.
Next question. What is your favorite food to grow and cook? That's from Gluten Free Gardener.
We haven't actually grown like heaps of food, have you seen? But my favorite has been eggplants. I love them. When Tom brings them in, I'm like, yes, like I love cutting them up, cooking them in the pan of olive oil. Tom doesn't love eggplant, but
Yeah, well, everything we've grown has only ever done it once.
Yeah.
So we're very new to growing. The eggplants have done very well, but I can't say they're my favorite. I don't know what my favorite is. I don't have really a favorite moment.
You like the chilies.
I like the chilies and the spring onion. Like I like going out there and getting spring onion, chopping it up and just putting it on my eggs and stuff. That's kind of fun, but nothing specific. So our urban homestead said, are you planning on growing as much of your own fresh produce as possible? 100%.
Yes.
I hope that all you guys and us are very pleasantly surprised to see how much food you can grow on a quarter acre. We will grow absolutely as much as we can on that property. And I think it'll be a lot more than what people are expecting.
I'll leave it here. That's fine. No worries.
Okay. Next question from Jack Package. Do you hunt for meat? Vic is full of good game harvests like goat, deer, and horse for meat, skinny and antler. Plus, they are all pest animals. I do not hunt for meat at the moment, unless fishing on the odd occasion counts. But I plan on doing some hunting in the future. I haven't got my license for a gun, or I would like to do bow as well one day, but they're all just dreams. But it definitely is on my list of things to tick off. I would love to start hunting and take Cole with me. I think that really, not only would it be the ultimate thing to just carry home a deer and butcher and put it in the freezer. That's the ultimate alpha move. To bring your wife home a deer. She'll be like, there you go, darling. That's that is a lifelong dream. And to do that with Koa would be very cool. So I'd like to do that. Rosalie said, what is your family background, nationality, and do you have any traditions or meals that you eat because of this? I'll let Samantha answer this.
I'm actually 3/4 Maltese. I know. And honestly, no traditional meals. I feel like Malta's go-to dish is pastizzi, but no, I'm not carrying that on. And most Maltese dishes are like carbs on carbs. There could be a pie with rice inside, like just a bit much.
Yeah, and I'm a bogan Aussie, so we don't have like many traditional meals besides some bogan. Every now and then we might have bangers and mash, but not really. So nothing specific that comes to mind.
Oh, that's right. You want to get it?
The next question is, you mentioned, so this one's a question for Samantha, really.
Mm-hmm.
It's by the Handmade Homemaker.
Yep.
Thank you for the question. You mentioned you learnt a lot about iron and if it is necessary to take it as a supplement for women. And I learnt it from a book you read. I was wondering which book this was.
I had it up on here. The book that you are talking about is, it's called Exposing the Hidden Dangers of Iron. That's better. That's what the book's called. And it's a really good book that explains what happens when you basically just put too much iron into your body. Very, very short, because I've explained this before and I could accidentally talk for an hour. I do talk about it more in my How I Had an Empowered Birth video too.
On our birth, go to a playlist.
Yep.
There's a free birth playlist. It's the video called How I Had an Empowered Home Birth.
Yep.
And it's towards the end of the Q&A.
But basically, if you take a blood test for iron, it doesn't give you the full picture. A lot of the time, your iron is stored in your tissues, which clearly a blood test is not going to show. And your body doesn't get rid of iron well. So if you're taking too much iron, it's getting stuck in your tissues. Your blood tests are going to keep saying there's no iron in your body, but it's stuck in your tissues. You're going to cause a lot of problems in your body, basically. And a lot of the world, I believe, is in this state where they put too much iron in their body. So I'm pretty sure that's what the book is called, Exposing the Hidden Dangers of Iron. I'll just check this again afterwards and I'll get Tom to post it in the comments.
And as per usual, if you want to get iron into the body, Whole Foods.
Whole Foods, yeah, that's right. Do not take synthetic lab supplements if that's what you're being told. Always take real supplements. And funny that question got brought up because we're actually wholesaling Cell Squared beef liver and spleen tablets next week on our website, because I am very passionate about iron. And if you do actually need iron, these type of tablets are ones that are going to be absorbed well. But we're going to talk about that more this week. So
yeah, but also don't take any advice from us. Always seek your healthcare professional. All right. Now, the next question is from a mama, don't know how to say your name, but the question is, from a mama who's desperately wants to find a way to stay home and also have land, would you guys recommend starting YouTube as an income?
Seems to be a popular question. Yeah, just the same answer as for before. Yeah. We don't think YouTube makes you enough money by itself.
For reference, guys, the best video that I've ever made money from was the most recent video, the How to Find Land. That's up to 30,000 views. It took me 4 days. If you combine the effort that it took me to research that, drive to the properties, film the whole thing, and then edit it all, it was 4 days work. And that video's made nearly $300. So you can $300 for 4 days work, generally speaking, it's not very good money. And that video did really, really good. That was 30,000 views. So yeah, I mean, different people get different amounts of money for their videos, but generally speaking, a YouTube channel on its own is not going to make a large amount of money unless you're very, very popular. You need to have products behind the YouTube channel that you're selling or something else other than just the YouTube ads. You can get sponsorships, which we'll probably do more of in the future, like brands that want to get a little ad in our video. So if any companies out there or whatever, you guys want to have us represent your brand. So we've had a lot of companies reach out to us already and want to work with us, but we don't believe in any of them, and we don't align with their values. But some companies that we do believe in, we will partner with in the future, and then we will on-sell those products. That's like the only way to really make money, because YouTube doesn't really pay enough. So the best way that we make money is through UGC. It's really, and if you want to learn, go on our Instagram highlights. If you want to learn a little bit about that.
Yeah, to answer that specifically, like she's saying, she wants to be a stay-at-home mum. We do think UGC is a great way. That's our number one source of income, and we do it all from home. So yeah, that's a good one if you're a mum at
home. The next question is from Tim. Timmy boy, how you going? Now, Tim said, a bit more of a broad question. You guys have done so many things with your life and with your family. You should be very proud of everything you've done and learned and achieved. Thank you very much, Tim. Always a kind word. I'm curious, how do you know if God is calling you to take specific action? All my life, I've heard people have felt God's calling for certain things, but I'm always cautious to attribute ideas to God in case they come from me. Much love from my family to yours. Very wise question, Tim. It shows your thinking, and that's good. Do you want to answer first and then I'll answer?
We say this every week to each other.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We're always thinking, are we doing God's will for our life? And it is a tricky one to answer. Tim, I'll bring you over here. I'm going to show you something, mate. And this isn't just for Tim. This is for anybody else as well. I'm going to turn the light on so you can see. In my time as a Bible-believing man, I haven't found any Bible verse that says, you should be a carpenter or you should be a YouTuber. Some people, if God has said to you, if you believe that God's telling you to go into a certain trade, then fair enough. You should do that. And I think it's a good case to say if like you're really good at cooking, then maybe that's God's giving you the gift of cooking. Then you could argue that's God saying you should be a chef or do cooking. Or likewise with like if you're a good gardener or something like that. But personally, I don't really know exactly what career God specifically wants me to do, and I've tried to figure that out. But from the scriptures, I put this on the wall here because I struggle with this question of what's God's will for me as a man. What's my duty? And I never heard him tell me, hey, Tom, go and be a YouTuber. I never heard that. So I think God's will for people is the same. He has the same job for all of his people. And what careers we choose, that's just how we make money. That's just a secondary thing for a lot of it. I'm going to read you a couple of verses here. So the first one's Ecclesiastes 12:13. And this is your job, Tim. It says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commands, for this is the whole duty of man. So that's your job. And I've got a few more here specifically relating to your job. This is Micah 6:8. He has shown you, O man, what is good, and what does Yahweh require of you? Yahweh it means the Lord. If you're reading from a newer version Bible, Yahweh just means the Lord, okay? It's God's name. He has shown you, O man, what is good, and what does Yahweh require of you? That to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. There you go. That's another instruction for your job. Another instruction for your job. And now, Israel, what does Yahweh your God require of you? This is Deuteronomy 10:12-14. What does your God require of you? But to fear the Lord your God, to walk in his ways and to love him, to serve the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and to keep the commandments and the statutes of Yahweh, which I am commanding you today for your good. I've got another one here, and it's very similar. It's like, it's from 1 Peter 5:5. Likewise, you who are younger, be subject to the elders. Clothe yourself, all of you, with humility toward one another. For God opposes the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so at the proper time he may exalt you. And the point of me showing you that is that I'll give you one more Bible verse to top off this answer. Sorry, it's a long one. There, you can see the kids doing a puzzle there. It's a proverb, and I don't know what proverb it is, but there's a proverb somewhere in the book of Proverbs, and it says, there is a way that seems right to man, but Yahweh weighs the heart, or the Lord, right? So if you're not familiar with Yahweh, but there is a way that seems right to man, but the Lord weighs the heart. And basically what that means is, from my understanding, that there is a way that seems right to each man, and ultimately you may or may not always choose the right decisions, but the Lord God, he will weigh your heart. So if you think it's the right thing for you to do, if you think it's God's will in your life to take a certain action and follow a certain career, then do it. And then when God weighs your heart, he will see that you tried to do the right thing. You tried to do his will for your life. But if you do something, if you think God doesn't want you to do something and then you go and do it anyway, regardless of if that was the right job, he's going to weigh your heart. So always just humble yourself and do what you believe is right for God, that you believe God wants you to do and what his will is for your life. And he will weigh your heart, even if you choose the wrong career. So I hope that it helps answer your question. Sorry, it was a bit of a long one, but it is something that we think about a lot because we want to make sure we're doing God's will for our life. And we do feel like we're doing something that he'd be proud of, hopefully. So, all right, next question. Kira, do you have any family and friends near your new homestead?
We don't have like a direct family, but we do have a good community of friends out that way. Like at least half an hour to an hour.
Yes, Ben? Yeah, Mum said Kira, yeah.
So yeah, we do. We're excited to move out there. We
haven't got any like blood, like direct family within like a couple hours, but we do have some friends that are closer out there.
Yeah.
The next question, what are your dream and possibly more realistic timeframes to have your homestead to move-in stage and also completed / self-sustaining? Like I said before, I'm thinking the end of next year would be really, really good. That's what I'm aiming for. I want to move in at the end of next year. So it'd be very, very busy and chaotic, as you can see, but that's the goal. And complete or self-sustaining, that will be years and years down the track. It'll probably never be self-sustaining because that's a very, very big task. It'll probably take a few years just for the trees to start producing fruit. So it will be in I reckon in 2 years, 3 years, it'll look fantastic. In 5 or 6, it'll be flourishing. But yeah, hopefully moving by the end of next year. Coral Gray said, is this your forever home or will you be looking for more land in the future? Also, do you feel your health journey has been worth all the changes you have made to your diet? Do you want to answer the first part about the forever home?
Yeah.
I'll answer the part.
I don't think it will be our forever home. If it ended up being our forever home, I have no problem with that. I just know Tom and I's personality or decision-making previous history. And we often change our mind every few years and want to do something different. So I would say probably we'll be here for 5 years, which means we'll be there for 3.
Yeah, it's very hard to tell how long we'll be there. But if we are there for our entire life, that'll be a blessing, and it'll be very good anyway. And I'm sure we will get to enjoy the fruit trees if we're there our whole life. The next part is, do you feel your health journey has been worth all the changes you have made to your diet? Is there anything you want to say about that quickly, or do you want me to?
You go for it.
All the health changes we've made to our diet, it's very hard to know. It's very hard to gauge if the health decisions we've made have made a benefit to our life immediately, because we've only been trying to implement really healthy stuff over the last few years, and we don't know for sure if we would have been sick or got a disease or something alternatively. But we do when we look around the world today, we see the unhealthiness around the obesity and infertility and diseases. And I mean, obviously this is not slandering anybody who suffers from those things, but we think it's higher than what it should be. We would like it if there was less unhealthy people. We want people to feel strong. We want people to feel healthy, and we want more babies. We don't want infertility. So, and we think that the levels of people getting sick is probably higher than what it should be. So we think that the normal diet is not very good. So that's why we're trying to make our diet better, but we can't gauge whether the decisions we've made has had a big impact yet, because it's only been a couple of years. But we're doing these decisions not just for us right now. We're doing it for our children, and then the next children after that. And maybe by the time our children are a bit older, in 20 years' time, then we will have a better answer on, do we think the health changes are worth it?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll start to see for sure the fruit of that.
If we had to bet on it, we would say yes right now.
Yeah, I think that it's worth it. I definitely think it's worth it, but I'm just trying to give an honest response. It's hard to tell for sure.
Yeah.
But hopefully our children appreciate it in the years to come.
Yep.
That's it. That's the end of the questions on YouTube. So hope you enjoyed that. There's more questions in the comment section now in the live chat. So I'll scroll through the live chat now, and thank you so much for everyone who's been commenting in here. I can see a lot's going on, but I'll try and find the questions now. Brave Mac, you were the first one. Shalom. He said, would you ever do a video on how you came about practicing the Sabbath? We could do a video on it.
But we could, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing a live show, I'm more than happy to talk about any topic in these live streams, but maybe I could do like specific ones for people who are more interested. So I might do like a live stream specific to finding land, or a live stream specific to being religious topics and stuff like that for different people. But I haven't got a plan to do a specific video on it. But I mean, the simple answer is, when we wanted to start Know the Truth, we just started reading the book. And I actually watched a lot of debates on the topic on whether you should keep the Sabbath. And I just couldn't find any good evidence not to. So that's a really short answer. But we felt convicted. I've got the 10 Commandments next to those bubbles. I've got the 10 Commandments on the fridge, and it's one of the 10 Commandments. So that's just how we started keeping it. Yeah. Next question. We got, Connect to Power has a really good, yep, good, thanks, Sharon. I wonder what inspired you to start on the service account said, I wondered what inspired you to start on this journey. I think for Samantha, it was maybe health would be.
I think the very start of this journey was when I first fell pregnant with Koa. I find it like so amazing how, as a mum, like you can like literally not care about yourself at all. And then the minute you find out you're pregnant, or you have to like care for your own little human, or feed that little human, you're like, wait, what is this little human actually eating? Or like, you really actually start to care like way more than I did for myself. So when I was pregnant with Koa, that's when we first went on this journey, because I was like, is this baby getting enough nutrients? Am I looking after this baby properly? And then it kind of led us down this whole rabbit hole to where we are now. Yeah. I honestly think if I didn't fall pregnant 2 years ago with Koa, I don't know where we would be right now, because that was the first time my eyes opened. I was like to Tom, we're not buying sauce anymore. That's it. So that's where it started. That's like a short answer.
Yeah, and if I was going to add anything, I'd say when I was looking at doing Homestead a couple of years ago, it was because I just thought the self-sufficiency and off-grid stuff was cool, and I was like, I want to be self-sufficient. But that wasn't a big enough motivator. Obviously, just the idea of self-sufficiency wasn't a big enough motivator for me. But once we started to get into the health stuff a little bit more, and not that we're health Nazis, but we just think if it comes from the creation's good, and if it's natural and it grows and it's organic, it's good for us. So we thought, hey, let's try our best to produce as much healthy food as we can. Yes, Bino? Okay, I'll help you after this, okay? Remember that if it's not approved, they will make recommendations to get it through. If you're following the guidelines, you'll be fine. Thank you, Sharon. Sharon's saying that we should be fine to get the building permit through if we follow all the guidelines. So I hope so too. Someone said, your birth video was a really blessing to me. Love from South Africa. Hey, that's cool. Let me know in the comments, what video did you find us first from, and start following. Next question from Firecracker Bird. Our Sabbath is Saturday. We dedicated most of the day worshiping, reading the Bible, and turning off from any tech. I really look forward to it. Yep, awesome. Same. That's very similar to us. Donna Boots, her Sabbath is Saturday too. Awesome, Donna. Very good. Someone, Firecracker, said your content's worth more than $300. Thank you. I hope in a couple of years.
Someone sell YouTube.
Yeah, I hope in a couple of years' time, the bank account's going forwards, not backwards. That would be good. Someone said, are you planning to homeschool? We school both of ours from our farm. It's woohoo rewarding. Yes, we're definitely planning to homeschool. I was homeschooled my whole life. Sam went to regular school, but we are both in agreement that we will be homeschooling our children the whole way through. Where are we? I'm just looking for the next question. Yes.
He's just reading Baba.
We won't neglect beekeeping. We are definitely looking forward to getting some bees. I don't know anything about it, but I will be getting some bees. I'm looking for any more questions. Curious, have you guys ever dabbled in specific diets like veganism? And what have you learned, if you have, pros and cons? Easier to source, organic or not, etc. I'll let Samantha give a quick answer to that, and then I'll give a quick answer.
Yeah, I used to be vegetarian when I was like, let's say 16 to 18, but I had no idea about health. So I would say I was very bad of a vegetarian. I didn't get enough vitamins and minerals from my vegetarian diet. And I used to eat like the fake meat stuff, which is like so silly because it's like, full of soy and all that type of stuff.
But we learned it. At the time, you thought that was healthy.
Well, yeah, I did. So I don't really have much to say about it because I dabbled in it when I was really young. I just really think that all those diets and things, they're like anything. If you cut out bad food, you're going to thrive on that diet. So that's why people say, I did keto, sorry, and it was really good for me, blah, blah, blah. But that's because you're probably just cutting out all the bad things. That's why you feel good. So yeah, I don't have heaps to say about different diets other than eat whole foods.
We haven't tried any drastic diets. We believe that a little bit of everything is good if it's natural and organic. A well-rounded diet of fruit, veggies, and meat, and that's the best diet. But I'll just double on what Sam said. We do think that if you went carnivore or you went vegan, most reason why it would work is because if you do either of those diets, you probably stop eating Maccas or you stop getting kebabs on the way home or something. And if you stop eating unhealthy food or just a bag of chips, you're going to get healthier anyway. So that's probably the main reason why most of those diets work. But everyone's different. Everyone's body's different. And you have to figure it out for yourself, I suppose. But Next question is just looking. Firecracker Bird said they follow the video. Yep, you follow the whole Bible. That's good. Same as us. Courtney Smith, if Samantha is 2/3 Maltese, what makes up the other third?
I'm actually 3/4 Maltese.
3/4 Maltese. And what's the other quarter?
The other quarter is very strong, Australian.
It's very good. Someone said the most important calling for parents is to bring up children in the ways of the Bible keeps commands. Well said, Firecracker. I've started watching your videos of being dreaming, having a home to me. I moved to Australia, got into mining. Hopefully that can become a reality. Also went to church the second time today. Good on you, James. Glad to hear it. So I'm just looking for the questions. I'm trying to scan through. Just looking for any last questions. Sorry, guys, taking me a moment to read through the comments. First fruit should be dedicated to God and not picked. Always pick on the second fruit and it brings abundance. Yep, we'll do, Firecracker. We're going to look into that. Sorry, guys, just scanning through lots of comments. I'm just only trying to get to the questions. Someone said, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a health Nazi. No, there's nothing wrong with being strict with your diet. I agree. The only time we eat a little bit not so healthy is if someone invites us over for dinner, we go to other people's houses, we don't be rude and tell them that food is really bad. We will, on the odd
what people cook is fine. He means if someone gets pizza or something.
Yeah. If it's something that we think is unhealthy or whatever, then we just eat it anyway. We're not complete Nazis. We don't just walk around telling people that food's bad. Looking for any questions. Oh no, one more. Another question here. Where did you get your dried ground herbs from? I've started getting a lot from Honest to Goodness, but there's herbs I can't find. It's struggle to find organic anywhere. Do you want to answer that?
Dried herbs.
Yeah.
There is a few that I get them from, but I haven't got any for a while because I've actually just been drying out our herbs in the garden. There's one I think it's called Nuts About Life. They have a range of both organic and non-organic, so you can look on there. They're located in Melbourne, but they ship Australia-wide. They have lots of things there.
Yeah. And the next question was, what led you both to Christ? And this question gets asked a little bit, so I won't spend too long on it. But we both were raised in Christian, Jesus-believing families. So we grew up with a bit of an understanding, but then neither of us followed it. We both just went and did our own thing until we were older in life. And then when we were older in life, we realized, hey, we're not being very smart.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how to word it really shortly, but basically we're like the prodigal son. We were eating out of the pig's trough. And then we realized, oh, what about that stuff we were taught when we were young? And we went back to the Bible and realized, actually, our parents were right. We should keep the commands and follow Jesus. Someone said you shouldn't show your kids on the internet. You know, that's a fair point. Showing kids on the internet, I actually kind of agree. There is a risk. There's a risk that we take by exposing our family up here, and bad things can happen. Definitely, I don't advise this for everybody, and I know that it's a risk that I take as a father of this family, as the protector of the family by putting everyone up here. But also know that the reward that can come from this, and we're choosing to be a city on a hill and be a light to people. So I hope that the good that comes from this channel outweighs the possible harm that could come. But we pray that, and I would appreciate your prayers that our family is kept safe, even though we choose to let everyone see our whole family. All right, almost finished. I think we're done. I've always wanted to ask, someone said, Tassie is not only Adelaide, is also known as The Rock. I thought you were Tassie Homestead to start with. What inspired The Rock? Okay, so this is a good closing question. I'll finish on this one. Sharon Rose asked, she was thought that Tasmania is often referred to as The Rock. So she thought our name Homestead on the Rock was because it's Homestead in Tasmania. But the reason our channel is called Homestead on the Rock is because there's a famous sermon, the most famous sermon of all time. It's the Sermon on the Mount. It's Jesus says a sermon, and it's 3 chapters, Matthew 5, 6, and 7. And those 3 chapters is Jesus basically covering every topic you need to cover. And he gives a lot of good instructions, practical instructions on how to live and how to fulfill the law and how to keep his commands. And we believe in Jesus and we believe in keeping his commands. And at the end of that sermon, towards the end, Jesus says, anyone who hears these words of mine and does them is like a wise man who builds his house on the rock. And when the winds come and the rains come and the beats against the house, it doesn't fall because its foundation is built on the rock. So that's where we get the name On the Rock from, because we're a family that is building our house and building our home on the teachings of Jesus, the teachings of Yeshua. So that's where we get the name Homestead on the Rock, where just to answer that for you. But I think I'll end it there. Do you have anything you want to say, Sam?
Nah, all good. Thank you if you asked us a question and joined in.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in, for especially all of you guys in the live chat for interacting and making this a chat, not just a live video. I appreciate everybody who's getting there, giving a comment, and we'll see you in next week's video. Bye. Bye.